Yeah, that's right. It's Judd's hockey show. It's Judd's hockey show on a Sunday evening after the Dallas Stars beat the Wild 6-3, and yeah, I gotta be frank here.
Okay.
Declan Goff. I'm Judd, not Frank,
I'm Declan.
but I have to be frank. Declan. Okay, it is time to sound the alarm, and here's what really bothered me. So post game tonight, just to set the scene for you, the viewers. Since it was a TNT game, the post game was not. I don't think it's streamed, and it was obviously not shown on
Yeah, it's on
Valley Sports
wild.com, I
North.
believe. You can get it
Okay,
there if you
but I
want.
mean, it's not like shown. Like if you're
Right.
watching the game, you can't just dip in and watch it.
Audra.
So so Sturm came in first and looked like he had been tied to a chair while having to watch his dog die.
Jesus.
Very down in the dumps.
Okay.
Very down in the dumps.
Yeah, because you were at the game. I was not.
Yeah. Yes, I was at the game, but more
Correct.
importantly, I was at the post game.
Yeah.
So Sturm looked like his dog just died, which is appropriate
kind of-
for how
yeah.
this team played.
That's bad.
Kaapo Kakkonen came in, and he wasn't. I mean, he played an awful game. He got taken out, but he was, I think, fittingly taken aback a little bit. Not too happy. Sturm was way more down in the dumps than Kaapo, but I think Kaapo was, in Kaapo's defense, a little shell shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Then Dumba came in, who spoke to the team post game, and Dumba was, you could tell he was searching. Now he had missed a handful of games previous to this, and so his basic point was, I saw this team from afar for a week plus, and had some thoughts, and then returned tonight. And we certainly didn't play well, and so I shared some thoughts. So I thought Dumba was not as bad as Sturm as far as being down in the dumps, but he was clearly bothered. And then Dean Evason came in,
Okay. I love Dean.
and Dino's great.
Dino's great.
I like him too. He's done a good job.
Mm-hmm.
But we got the sort of cheerful, we're not playing well, but it's not like the game a week ago, Saturday in Calgary, was awful. But since then, we played hard. And Dino talked about, excuse me, how well this team played at times tonight. And basically, when asked by our friend Michael Russo
Friend of the
about
show.
the fact that this team seems to be mentally fragile, said, yeah, that's the term that we've used. Fragile. Our team is fragile right now. It's not that they're playing terrible hockey, but they're fragile. And then Dean said, and the players told me flat out, if you are going to give us the day off tomorrow, excuse me, we don't want that. We want to come in and work. We want to work our way out of this. And that's great. And Dean did confirm that there was, after that performance, not a plan to give the team the day off. Anyway, long story short, it is March. The playoffs are fast approaching. The Wild, who were on a magical carpet ride of a season weeks ago, have now lost 8 of 10 games.
Cool.
Tonight was, as far as I'm concerned, a atrocious performance. I know, they rallied, and I know the first period. Well, guess what? The game is, last time I checked, 60 minutes. You need good goaltending. The same bugaboos week after week now, unfortunately, game after game, are biting this team in the ass. The head coach admits that the team is mentally fragile right now, and yet he's trying to put sort of that happy face on it. There's no time for this crap. Like, this has to end right now. And I don't know if it's a trade, and we've discussed this ad nauseum, but I don't know if it's a trade for a goaltender. I don't know exactly what the move is, but Sturm was asked post-game about potential changes. If things don't change, if you don't start to improve. And I thought to myself, potential changes? There are changes coming here. Like, you're going to have to do some things here to right. I don't think you can just punt on this team and be like, well, we went in the crapper, and so too bad. See you next fall. No, that's not how this works. So I guess I'm bothered by the head coach's attempt now to slow play the struggles and to admit when I'm sorry, but when you are saying that this team is mentally fragile, and I have really bad past Wild PTSD because that's what this team's always been. Like team was going to be different, and now you're just mentally fragile again. And oh boy, we can't get it on our right. And like, what is this just going to last another month? Well, we're mentally fragile, and now you are close to being out of a playoff spot now. Now, I guess that you could fall out and battle your way back in, but that was not supposed to be the story of the 2021-22 Minnesota Wild season. So, excuse me for not just shrugging along with the head coach and being like, yeah, that was fun, and now you're mentally fragile. Mentally fragile is a warning alarm. It's a 3-alarm fire. It's not like, well, we tried, but we're mentally breaking down. I'm sorry. That's not a good excuse. Here's all I know, and this disgusts me. Ryan Suter came into your barn tonight and helped do your team in.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Cabo couldn't have been worse. Gave up 3 goals in the second period. The last one of which which was the second goal of the game by Jason Robertson, who got a hat trick for the second consecutive game, becoming the second guy in franchise history to do that. Bill Goldsworthy of the North Stars, it's been that long, was the other. That was a terrible goal. The first Robertson goal was a puck that Capo has to swallow. The next one was, God bless him, good kid, I'm sure, Riley Tufte, who's had great, success here. He's a local kid, but he scores a goal that has to be eaten up. And then you get the 2 late goals from Kaprizov, and you're like, oh, we're within 1 goal. That crap doesn't do it for me. I want a team that's not mentally fragile. I want the team back that we saw, Declan, a month and a half ago. This to me is just really frustrating, and it frustrates me to have this like, well, we'll snap out of this. Okay, but what happens if you do make the playoffs and this happens again? Like, the playoffs are about being mentally tough. That's what the National Hockey League playoffs are built on. It's built on being a bleep kicking player who doesn't just, 1 game, I get it. 2 games, I get. A week, disturbing. But Dex, this is 10 games. You've won twice, and you're mentally fragile. And somehow we're going to work on that tomorrow. Give me a break. Sorry.
Bravo.
That's just ridiculous.
And I know you were pent up. You weren't next to me at the game, so you couldn't voice out your frustrations to me like Judd usually likes to do. Actually, Judd likes to be left alone when we're at games.
During the play, I like to be left alone. But
during the play,
I like to
don't talk to him. But then he'll rib me during the intermissions. This is bad. This is really bad. I was trying to have some tepid expectations and tepid cautious mindset of, hey, it's a slump, and you're gonna go through this. It's gonna be okay. You've come out of these things before, and just naturally with how well you've been playing, you're gonna lose some games. But with how this is how they're losing games, they're scoring first and they're losing games. Their goaltending, no matter who they seem to start, isn't helping them. Their special teams has been atrocious. Penalty kill and power play.
It sucks, as Dino said.
You're having to change up your lines. Your first line center is being moved all over. Analytically, expected goal rates are saying, well, these games should be closer. These games, your goaltending is bad, and the goaltending is bad. The goaltending's been bad. Offensively, the Wild still have one of the best offenses in the league, but at the end of the day, their goaltending is hurting them. Regardless, analytics, doesn't matter. You're losing games. And you've built up that cushion, that beautiful cushion you built up is for nothing now, because the Stars have basically erased a 9-point deficit in 2.5 weeks. When I think I buried the Stars 3 weeks ago on this. I was like, I'm not worried about Dallas. And I'm not worried about the Wild even being a wild card team, because they have the second place spot in this division on lock. Egg on my face now, a month later. No problem admitting we're wrong on this show. We do it every Wednesday and Thursday. Hit the subscribe button for daily accountability sessions and when we admit we're wrong right here on this YouTube channel. But it's painful, and it stinks. The trade deadline is now 15 days away, Judd. It's 2 weeks from Monday. Bill Guerin was on the TNT broadcast in the middle of the end of the second intermission into the third, and obviously they asked him the elephant in the room, are you going to make trades? And he said we don't want to make a panic move, but at the same time, we owe it to this team, we owe it to the fan base to try to do something here. I guess my type of reaction to this is if I want to see the effort of at least trying to go for it. And if you're a little scared, you have, well, if this team's going to go in the tank, I don't want to give up future assets or draft picks. No. You're just going to go back to the drawing board next October and say, well, we tried, and now here we go. We'll just held on to all these prospects, all 5 of them, all 10 of them. They're all going to be NHL superstars. No, they're not. No, they're not. And you're in a position in the draft order where you don't have an elite pick. You're going to be outside the lottery. You're going to be outside the top 15 even. You're not going to find a stud year in and year out from drafting there every time. So I think Bill Guerin owes it to the fan base. He owes it to the team in the locker room there. You have to try something by the trade deadline, which is now 15 days away.
But what the hell has happened? Like, mentally weak? You can't just agree with the question to that. This is professional sports. And shrug it off. Like, that is a huge... that mentally weak, this team? A month and a half ago, we were talking about leadership and how it was different, and Dino was using every post-game presser to take not-so-veiled shots at Suter and Parisi and the rest of the team that thankfully is gone. And on our show here, we were dancing on the grave of the old Wild and how mentally weak and inept that team was. On Valentine's Day, the Wild were 9 points back of the Avs and 9 points clear of the Stars. And they had, at the time, on Valentine's Day, the 3rd best points percentage in the National Hockey League, 732. Russo tweeted that. He tweeted this tonight. The Wild are now 18 points back of the Avs and tied with Dallas and have the 13th after being 3rd best points percentage in the league. It has gone from 732 on Valentine's Day to 620 now. And again, I will ask a very simple question. What the hell has happened here?
I know, man.
Like, and I don't even know where to start assessing the blame. And look, you can tell me to calm down. And I was as high on this team as the next guy, which fuels my frustration. But the fact is, the wheels have come off and nobody appears to be the mechanic, including the coach.
Yeah.
Like I get what he's trying to do, right? I get the whole, it's, but Dean, listen, let me tell you something. Expectations were high. They should have been. You fueled them and you were doing a great job. But Dex, like you just said, the goaltending is horrific. Like, this doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
Dumba was back, but I mean, John Merrill, I don't know how he looked on the TNT telecast, but watching him, I mean, he has definitely taken a huge step back. How many chances did this team have, Dex, tonight from like grade A from the slot? Zuccarello had at least 2 in which he was grade A in the slot and didn't get a shot off.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's trying to play hurt. He probably is, but okay, it's March. Lots of guys are.
Those 2 chances he missed were painful, and he was fighting it. He was vocal that it was clear that, or not vocal. It was telling that he was very upset that he missed all those chances. But it's always a ball breaker, right? When you go into an intermission giving up a goal like that. And ticky-tacky reviews, it was a long one. The skate was in Capo, and then Capo gets pushed. Regardless, you blew another situation where you could have went in that period. And the Wild, for the most part, in that first period, Judd, looked great. It was kind of like, oh, okay, here we go. Just how nice is it to get a nice 20-minute start here? They haven't had a nice first 20-minute start, and you get all the wind out your sails. And then because you lose the challenge, obviously, you're on the penalty kill to start the second period. Obviously, Dallas is able to score there, and everything snowballs away on from there. And the game feels closer because the Wild, for whatever reason, were able to maintain the game the last 9 minutes with the goaltender pulled.
Which is ridiculous again, too.
But to your original point of how much blame can we have put on Dean here? Like, I guess my gut and my gut reaction to that is like, I don't know if I can put any blame on Dean. I'm not trying to say he isn't at fault either. But I don't know, Judd, where I can assess much blame on Dean right now. I don't know. I'm kind of puzzled.
Well,
as puzzled as I am with this team. I'm kind of puzzled at what to make of how Dean can help them get out of this funk.
I think there's a time to be a player's coach, because as we saw with Zim, if you are a bleep hole, players are going to tune you out, and you're going to lose the locker room, and that is what probably often results in coaches losing their job. All right. Having said that, I don't agree with, after a loss like this, just going along with, yeah, we're mentally fragile right now. If a reporter suggested that to me, I would say, you know what? You're right. And that ends right now. Like, if you think that this room is as well constructed as we thought, including us. So like,
Yes.
I am fully on board with indicting us. But if you think that this room is as well constructed as we thought and praised them for and talked about, and they talked about, mentally fragile is not an option here. A few bad games, yeah. A bad week, again, concerning, but yeah. But this is 10 games now. And
Right.
here's and the worst part, and Sturm alluded to this, and he's accurate. He's like, our ups and our downs are ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know,
Really well
5
spoken about that.
consecutive defeats going through the Winter Classic, right?
Yeah.
Come back and what, 6 to 8 games, Dex? You're looking great. Okay, yeah, now they're back. And we both said, okay, that 5-game spurt was their spurt. I mean, we talked about how this team, we didn't see an extended bad period. Well, now you've come back again, and in the last 10 games, you're terrible. That's ridiculous. Like, that is not what winning teams do. Winning teams go through rough spurts. Totally get that. But this pendulum swing, this roller coaster, I don't know what the hell to call this. That's not what a strong team does. And the coach just basically flat out admitting. And Dex, to your point, special teams, last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. Okay. The power play is 1 for 20. The power play with Kaprizov, with Fiala, with a lot of, a lot of decent hockey players, and in Kaprizov's case, probably a superstar, 1 for 20. Conversely, the penalty kill, in 23 times shorthanded in the same time period, 7 games, has given up 10 goals. Like, what the? Again, I'll ask a question. What the hell is going on here? None of this is excusable.
No,
me.
it's not. It's not. And what's even more remarkable is then when you get down, and this does seem to happen here, and when you're getting towards the end of the season, because this bleed that the Wild have, I mean, Judd, they have 67 points right now, and they're a point out for being in 5th place in the division because of the Preds and Stars now back on your tail.
Yes.
And now that you're going to get jumbled, and now that things are going to get really tangled, you're going to have to get to these tie-breaking situations, potentially, with your head-to-head records and all this stuff. Well, the issue is, once you get after, the greater number of points earned, the 6th one on there is your greater goal differential. Yeah. And because the Wild have had their goaltender pulled so much, they've actually are hurting their chances with that kind of tiebreaker. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but 9.5%. I saw this note. 9.5% of the Wild's goals allowed this season have come with the empty net. Yep. Friend of the show, Michael Roos, and I were discussing that on the way earlier down into the post game earlier this week when they beat the Flyers. That if they're going to get into a tie-breaking situation, and it's as great as they played with the goaltender pulled earlier in this season, with how frequent they're doing it now, that eventually is going to potentially hurt them as well. So everything is not working here. I mean, winning cures all, right? Winning cures all. So if this is just your classic Homer Simpson swoon season, and then you can get out of it, great. But I would just be very, very disappointed if we get to the trade deadline here in 2 weeks and you continue to play middling hockey and you squeeze into that the playoff field, because I still believe the Wild will obviously be in the playoffs when it's all said and done. But if you just get bounced in the first round from where we were looking at this team just a month ago, man, that is a massive disappointment.
If this team does not significantly pick up how it's playing, they will miss the playoffs. Like, they're that bad right now. Well, they're that bad. And like, if you just go with the woe is us, man, we are mentally weak. Where do you go from there? Like, who's going to put a skate boot to this team's ass? Because it appears, because they just talk about, yeah, I mean, it's a great room, and our leadership dynamic is fantastic. And I watched that piece of garbage tonight, and I'm sorry, one period, I'm not going to get excited. You played so well in the first, okay, but I mean, think about this for a second. That's a split call there. That the first goal is scored by Pavelski. Sagan, obviously, it appeared, went into Capo first. Goudreau then pushed him. So it's a close call. It's just a close call. And you don't get it. Okay. That's too bad. But it's 1-1 after one. And the Wild acted like something terrible had happened. Like, okay, you challenged it. You lost. They get a power play. That's too bad. But, they played so well, and that threw them off.
Mm-hmm.
Like you might as well, if that's your mentality, decline the playoff invitation. Don't even show up. Like, if you can't fight through that, if you're just like, well, I mean, oh boy, we didn't get that call. Like, Dex, we've talked about this 1,000 times. Officiating, in your opinion, is going to screw you constantly.
Yep. Always is.
An official took Kaprizov out tonight. No, it was a mistake. It was an accident. But if you're going to allow officiating to dictate your feelings are hurt because you didn't get the call, then don't go to the playoffs. I mean, I can't believe that this team that we praised is doing this.
Yeah.
And just looks like, well, we're going to practice tomorrow. Yeah, you're going to practice. Like, we're not going to take a day. You've got the Rangers on Tuesday. The New York Rangers are really good. They will run you out of your own building unless you pull your head out of a certain orifice really soon and start to engage in playing hockey. And then you've got games after that at Detroit, at Columbus. And then, Dex, you've got 9 consecutive home games in which, I mean, we have said all year long, Wild's played a ton of road games. And for a while it was games in hand, right? Like, they got all these points, and they did. And that is slowly but surely gone. In fact, I believe that technically, because the Stars and Wild are now tied in points, the Wild is still technically in third because they've played 64 games now. And if I'm not mistaken, the Stars have played 65. But the point being is that's going to be gone soon. And then you play 9 consecutive home games in which, if you don't make hay there, you might not be in the playoffs.
Yeah. And it's not, this is the schedule they're dealt. This was the schedule they were dealt. Man.
Yeah.
It'd be great if they had to deal with that. Yeah. And to your point about referees, same thing. Yeah, referees, officiating is atrocious. Okay, officiating is bad. I don't care. Why are other teams winning then? Why are other teams winning games and figuring out ways to overcome that? Is it just everyone's out to get you? We're a Minnesota sports, and we're gonna blame the Zebras. They're out to get us. They're taking out our best player. What the hell are they doing? They don't know what a cross check is. They don't know what goaltender interference is. Win the damn game. Win the damn game, and that's all I care about. It is disappointing that they have basically fallen on their face here over the last 2.5 weeks. I don't know. I don't seem, and it's fine, but I don't seem to have as much doom and gloom as you do. I'm definitely as upset and as pissed off, I believe, as you are. I'm channeling a little differently. I still have optimism that they should be able to turn things around. But this is a sound the alarm type of moment here.
Well, tonight was, to me, incredibly disturbing.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't been... I don't like it because I know what this team is capable of. And yes, there was probably some point in time this season where they 100% overachieved. And I get that. Like, they weren't that good. And I get that. But Dex, what they're doing right now is abysmal. And I'm not saying it's tonight. It's the Flyers game. The Philadelphia Flyers, let me be very, very clear, suck.
Yeah, they're bad.
The Philadelphia Flyers are terrible.
Okay.
And you had to keep coming back. I mean, they kept, and that's on Talbot, but that's on the entire team too. And then, okay, you come back, you win. So, no complaints. You won. You come back in Buffalo. Same BS. And
Yeah.
Buffalo's no great shakes.
Mhm.
And you go up by a goal. And I tweeted, they need to win by at least 2 here. Because I'm tired of this. Oh, yeah. And then sure enough, they don't get the goaltending. They fall flat. Their mojo is gone. I really see a team that a big part of their problem, it looks like they are feeling sorry for themselves consistently. And I will say this. So, and I don't know if it's the Calgary games in particular, but if you watch that game tonight, and I think it might be the Flames game, Dex, but just go along with my
Sure.
logic here.
Okay.
It looked to me like Dallas had watched the Flames games because now the Flames are a more talented team,
I think I know where you're going.
but like the amount of stick checks, the amount of ability to frustrate was largely the template.
Yeah.
And that's what the Wild and this is on Dean. They have to adjust.
Right.
And instead it's like, oh no, this again. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna? I mean, the amount of times they allowed themselves to be stick checked. At first I thought, oh, Dallas is playing well. And then I thought, no, this is now like at some point in time, you have to do something. Protect the damn puck. Dallas was giving the puck away in the first period. As good as the Wild played, Dallas was terrible. And they were turning the puck over in their own zone right and left. And the Wild didn't capitalize. And then the last 2 periods, Dallas played well and locked things down more. But it looked to me like the Calgary plan. And that, as we talked about after the Flames games, that's playoff hockey, dude.
Yeah.
That's how you play. So if you can't adjust, again, don't go. You're screwed.
I think to your point, with Dallas seeing what Calgary did, I think the blueprint is out on how to beat the Wild right now.
Yes.
Like the blueprint's out.
Correct.
Like the Flyers almost beat the Wild, right? The Flyers.
Yep.
The Flyers almost beat the Wild, not just because of bad luck, but
Terrible.
because they know how to beat them. And that's where I really think if I was running this team, I would make the trade for goaltending. Because right now, of all those bad things happening, Capo, Kakinen, and Cam Talbot can't bail you out right now. They have no goaltenders can bail you out after horse bleep performances in front of you. They can bail you out. They don't have the goaltenders to do that. They're allowing a crap ton of goals, and other teams are coming in here with physicality. And maybe this is even in the first half of the year when they were beating teams. It was teams kind of realized, what the hell? We game planned. All right, if we shut down Kirill Kaprizov or try to do something to slow him down, can these other guys start scoring? And those other guys did, right? Because remember, Kirill and Kevin Fiala both got off to kind of slow offensive starts, and you were getting goals from Hartman, you were getting goals from the fourth line, you were getting nice performances from Frederick Gaudreau. And now all of a sudden those resources, those secondary resources have drawn out. And then guys like Fiala and Kaprizov, and kudos to Fiala for falling on the sword on Friday night. Good for him for having the self-awareness, as I always talk about. My guy having the self-awareness for that. But at the end of the day, when those guys then aren't scoring and those secondary resources aren't helping you either, well, now you're really stuck. Now there's no way you can win a game. And the only way when those resources aren't going your way is if goaltending can bail your ass out. And right now the Wild don't have either goaltender on any type of level that can bail them out. That's where I'm at.
Exactly. Hey, you know what? I'm so upset that I need something that puts me in a good mood. And
Okay.
you know what puts me in a great mood?
What's that?
Declan Goff. It's my Chill Boys.
Yes.
I've got them on right now, and I gotta say, I'm a hot up top. I'm hot up here.
Usually are.
But let's just say the Chill Boys have me nice and cool. And the great thing is, it's not just the Chill Boys boxers, Dex, as you can attest as well. The Chill Boys long johns. The Chill Boys long johns in the Winter Classic, a game that was as cold as it gets. Tell me about your experience wearing the long johns.
Hell, we got what, Judd? 3 to 4 inches of snow here in the Twin Cities overnight last night, and I'll be honest, it's laundry day in the Goff household coming up here, and there was one pair of undies left. They were the long underwear Chill Boys. So I got up this morning, took the dog out. Dog had to go outside because I'm a puppy dad now. Pupper's got to go outside. Took him outside, and I was nice and warm because of my Chill Boys. And now, even after this great therapy session that you and I have had here in the last 30 minutes, I can now rest assured knowing that I have my Chill Boys on, keeping me nice and comfortable and warm.
Chillboys.com. Chillboys.com. And the good news too, Declan Goff, is my Chill Boys, well, they fit really well. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. It's because I've dropped 30 plus pounds with the help from my good friends at Livia Weight Control Centers. Yes, I said weight control, not weight loss. This is not a diet place. This is not a fad diet place. This is a place that helps you drop the weight. And then the best part, they help you keep that weight off, which so many of us struggle with. And here's the best part, you can right now get your first 8 weeks for free. That's right. I did not misspeak. First 8 weeks for free with the I Did It 8 Week Challenge. 855 go LIVEA livea.com livea.com.
Also, as we mentioned on the last Judd's hockey show, we gave away a pair of those Minnesota State boys hockey tournament tickets. We gave those away. That contest just ended, so check your emails for those winners who potentially won those tickets. I'm looking for a Minneapolis school made the tournament. I might actually go down on Wednesday for the 8 p.m. game.
The coach, Joe Diedzik,
Yeah,
who was a city conference star back in the days when a young Judd Zolgad was taking box scores at the Star Tribune on Friday nights.
Wow.
Joe Dziedzic. I still remember having to spell that because that kid was a complete stud. And yes, congrats. So he got the co-op, the entire thing in the state tournament. This is awesome. This is actually the first time in forever that I'm excited about a Class A thing.
Yeah, it's literally
like
phenomenal.
Ordinarily, I don't like the tournament. I love the double A, but I like this. This is a great story.
The gal, the girlfriend, her family, they're all Matamidi people, so they're all fired up for those Zephyrs. But you know what? I'm pulling for my Minneapolis here. I'm pulling for a public school. I'm not pulling for these damn Zephyrs. I'm pulling for a nice public school. So it's tourney time. Story. And by the way, those tickets were brought to you by Channel 45 TV, which is the official home for the MSHSL tournament. Watch them exclusively on 45 TV, 45.
Starting on Wednesday. Okay, so the last thing is this, and this is where I'm inclined to agree with you about your goaltending take. I do feel like if this team is, I even hate to talk about this, but let's just go down the path of mentally fragile, okay? They're mentally fragile, mentally weak. Take your pick. I don't even care what we call it. I think the surest way to trigger that is soft goals. So like you lose a face-off, that can hurt. You can recover, right?
Yep.
I'd like a big defenseman because Merrill, in my opinion, not playing well. Goligoski continues to struggle. I'd like a big defenseman, but I think what rips your gut out, like what just kills you, is when Jason Robertson, who's a good enough player without getting help, right?
He's a good player, yeah.
And Dallas is up at that point in time, what, 3-1. So the game is certainly reachable to get back in, but the next goal is absolutely huge. And he moves into your zone and takes a shot that is just a run-of-the-mill shot. Like he's basically trying to get the puck on net. My guess is to like create a rebound potentially. It certainly does not look like what we like to call high danger chance. And it goes right through Capo. That rips your gut out.
Yeah, man.
And I mean, when Kaprizov scored that second goal late in the third period, didn't you immediately flash back to this game is tied if Capo doesn't give up an atrocious goal? So that's why I'm inclined to agree with your take on, of all the things, if you really think this team is just sort of mentally in trouble, you can't have goaltenders allowing big, juicy rebounds. And I know it's a tough position. I understand that. But in that goal is just a terrible goal.
It's quarterbacks and goaltenders are the only two positions for my money in sports that can overcome everything else not working for you. Because they hold so much true to the vest. And I will say the volatility for goaltending is a lot different than quarterbacks. And, of course, it's not the most perfect situation. But whenever you see, we just talked about losing faceoffs, right? And you lose the dang it. Well, you got a goalie that can make a big save for you. You get hit. You get your noggin rocked, right? Someone takes a big lick against the boards. Got a goaltender that can bail you out. The officials, they're calling cross checks and ticky-tack stuff, and you're getting whacked and hacked, and you're not getting calls. Your goaltending can save you.
Yeah.
As much as I love the idea of Claude Giroux, or even getting more size, and even seeing people on our YouTube comments section, by the way, hit the subscribe button for Daily Minnesota Sports Entertainment, saying bring back Carson Soucy from Seattle. He's a nice size guy. You can bring him. Look, Carson Soucy's a nice player. Claude Giroux's a nice player. Thomas Hertl is a damn good player that would make your offense better. they're not playing goal.
Yeah.
They're not the goalie. They're not the ones that are allowing 5 goals a night. And right now, the Wild's goaltending is just atrocious.
Yep.
They need better goaltending.
And what is the old cliche? Your best penalty killer is
Goaltender.
your goaltender.
Yes, sir.
And 10 power play goals against in the last 7 games is in no way, shape, or form acceptable.
And
So,
there was, last thing here, there was conflicting reports, that Marc-Andre Fleury potentially wanted to stay in Chicago, and there's other ones that saying, no, teams are pursuing him. I will say Marc-Andre is definitely a weirder guy. He almost didn't even go to Chicago when Vegas moved him this last summer.
Mm-hmm.
I have a pretty good feeling because also, and you talked about this, the geographic reason makes a little sense. And he's up there in age, yeah. Like, is Marc-Andre Fleury at the level he even maybe was last year? Probably not. Maybe not. But I feel a hell of a lot better with him in net over the 2 options Minnesota's been deploying over this whole season, not just the last few weeks.
and keep in mind, too, if you bring in the Flower, okay?
I love the Flower.
One is you are taking him out of a cesspool. Because make no mistake, with all of the things that have gone around the Blackhawks, it's a cesspool right now. Mm-hmm. So one is you're taking him from a really a lost situation and transplanting him into a team that is a very viable playoff contender. The other thing too is, and this shouldn't be the case, but it is. If Marc-Andre Fleury in a week from now starts the game for the Wild, Declan, do you know what you're going to get? You're going to get a residual uptick from everybody. Because right now, I mean, when you talk about, like, if we break this down, when the head coach admits that his team is mentally weak, he is basically saying we need to change something to change that. Yep. And if you're about to drop the puck with the start of the game or for the start of the game and you look and the Flower's in goal, I guarantee you it's going to provide a jump that you don't get right now if you look and it's Cam Talbot or Capo. It's that simple.
Yes, sir.
And I don't think that's excusable. I don't think that's good. But if we're going to deal with the reality of what is going on here, I think it's true. And to your point from before, and I agree completely with this, I just don't think you can punt on this team. I'm starting to see, don't make moves, it won't matter. I don't think you can punt.
I'll text him right now. Bill Guerin on the phone right there.
Oh,
I'll send him a message.
Can I write down the number?
Can we get the Flower? Yep. Billy, Declan from JHS, your favorite.
That's good. Yeah, I'm sure he'll respond.
Judd says hello.
I'm sure he'll respond. Tell him Judd is disgusted. Tell him Judd is panicked.
Flower.
Tell him Judd doesn't agree with Dino's. Hey, it'll all be fine. Let me tell you right now, Dean.
Judd.
Dean, the sky is falling. Okay, that big blue thing coming crashing down, that's the sky. Let's do what we can to stave off that. Okay. All right, I'm done with ranting. Take us home. I'm through here.
All right, Mackie and Judd back until full strength. Mackie and Judd. It was, speaking of tandems, Judd Zolgad and I weren't just 1A, 1B. We were 1A, 1B. We were power play point men. We were penalty killers. We were running 4 lines and playing all facets of the game last week on Score North. Let me tell you, the Hockey Whisperer has recharged a little bit after a nice needed vacation, and now we are back at full strength on Monday. And you know what? I'm bringing a pie chart tomorrow, a pie chart of blame for this Minnesota Wild.
Oh, I like that.
I'm gonna bring a little tease for tomorrow, and a little tease for the group text to you and Bill here in just a little bit. I'm gonna bring a little pie chart of blame to the show tomorrow. So hit the subscribe button right here, and also download the Score North app. And one final housekeeping thing: we are aware Mackie and Judd is not showing up on the Apple Podcast feed. We're working on it. Unfortunately, it's out of our control.
It's still not on there.
It's those damn gremlins at Apple. We're working
on it. What's going on at Apple? Where's the guy that runs it? What's it? Bill Gates?
Yeah, I'll let me ask Bill Guerin if he maybe knows a guy from there too.
Why don't you text Bill Gates? Just say Billy.
In the meantime, download the Score North app because you can listen to our shows or watch them right here on our YouTube channel. So we have other means to watch them, but we're working on it, so we appreciate it. Yeah. For Judd, I'm Declan Goff. We appreciate you guys. Pass, shoot, score.